The biggest Minecraft update of the year just released. Minecraft 1.21, the Tricky Trials update is here, introducing a huge new underground structure for you to fight and explore, lots of new loot, 2 new hostile mobs, a new weapon, enchantments, potions, and even some technical farm updates and new redstone features. This is truly a massive update, introducing the most powerful weapon we've ever seen, 34 new blocks, dozens of new mechanics that we've never had before, the ability to auto-craft any item in Minecraft, and so much more. In this video, we're going to take a look at every major new feature in Minecraft 1.21 for Bedrock and Java Edition. You might have heard about some major villager changes that are allegedly on their way to Minecraft, but good news, there are no villager changes in Minecraft 1.21. There's no changes to librarians or other trades that you need to worry about. Everything is the same, so keep on harvesting your villagers for all their lovely goods. So the biggest feature in this update is the Tricky Trials themselves. These are huge, sprawling underground structures that you can find all throughout your Minecraft world. Every single trial chamber is different, so it's going to be a unique challenge every single time. Now, there's 3 main ways to find the trial chambers. You can just go mining through your Minecraft world, but this is going to be incredibly slow. But I would say they're about maybe 4 times more common than ancient cities. You can also buy a map from a cartographer villager, and that'll take you to the nearest unexplored trial chamber, so that's a pretty good vanilla way to do it. Or, of course, you could use the website chunkbase.com, put in your world seed, and that'll tell you where every structure in your Minecraft world is. Inside the trial chambers, you can find near infinite copper to steal and build with yourself, and you can also find a new hostile mob called the Breeze. There's also new blocks in the trial chambers, such as the trial spawner, trial vault, and ominous vault as well. When you walk into this place in survival mode, you're going to activate the spawners, which will spawn a whole bunch of mobs in waves. So you better have something more than a potato to fight this place with. The more players that activate a trial spawner, the more mobs it will spawn and the more difficult it will be. It scales with how many players that you have. That way, if you come in here with 15 people, it's not just a cakewalk. It's actually going to get legitimately difficult. Now, once you defeat a trial spawner, it is going to go on cooldown. After 30 minutes, it will start spawning mobs again if you're standing near it. So you need to raid these places rather quickly, otherwise you're going to be fighting mobs on your way back out as well. There's a variety of mob spawners that you can find inside of the trial chamber, and you can tell what mob is going to spawn depending on the blocks that are around the spawner. So pay attention to what's on the floor, because that's going to tell you if it's zombies or spiders, slimes, silverfish, cave spiders, or even the new bogged mob. So they're broken down into 3 different categories: melee, small melee mobs, and then your ranged mobs, and of course the Breeze as well. Once you defeat all the mobs in the trial spawner, it's going to shoot out a trial chamber key, and this can be used to unlock the vaults and get yourself a nice little bit of loot. These vaults are sprinkled all around the trial chamber, and this is what they look like right here. If you're able to unlock the vault, once you walk near it, it's going to turn on kind of like that. It's like, give me a key! Anyway, you can click on this with your trial key, and that's going to unlock it and give you a whole bunch of loot. Or maybe just 2 pieces of loot. It varies a lot. The important thing to know about trial vaults is that you can only unlock each vault 1 time. So now that I've opened this, I can never open it again, but any other player in Minecraft can also come in here and open it. So each player can only unlock it 1 time, but an infinite number of players can unlock it. So I can't use that one anymore, but this one over here, I can come up to, give it a key, and get some loot from it. There's a lot of new loot in this update, which we'll talk more about later, but the only way to get most of it is via these vaults, or the ominous vaults, and here are the drop chances on screen. As you can see, a lot of this stuff is pretty rare, so you're likely going to have to fight through multiple trial chambers if you want to get a couple of everything. There's a whole nother level of mechanics having to do with the trial chambers as well, and that is ominous trials. So you might have noticed that we got one of these funky little bottles from the vault right here, and these are the ominous bottles. So there are 5 different levels of ominous bottle. Each one of these lasts for 100 minutes. Now, as far as I can tell, there is no real difference between any of these, so it doesn't really matter which level you have. So there's a couple different ways of getting these. You can get level 1 and 2 from the regular vaults. You can get level 3, 4, and 5 from the ominous vaults. And if you kill a pillager captain, that can drop any of these ominous bottles from levels 1 through 5. When you drink any of these bottles, that is going to give you the bad omen effect for 100 minutes, and it actually destroys the bottle. You don't get an empty bottle back. As you can see, we now have bad omen for 100 minutes. If we walk into a village now, that is going to start a regular raid after a 30-second cooldown. If you have bad omen and walk into a trial chamber, as you can see, that is going to activate the trial spawners in a different way, and these things are going to be significantly more difficult now. This is an ominous trial. As as you can see, these guys spawn with actually really good gear and quite the bit of armor on them as well. Now, when you defeat all of these mobs, then the trial spawner is going to give you an ominous key, which is kind of spooky looking. And this is used to unlock the ominous vaults. A quick note about these armored mobs, they cannot drop any of their gear or weapons, so don't try and farm like diamond swords from these guys. Ominous trials can also drop 4 new types of potions on you, around you, and on the mobs that you're killing, which we'll talk a little bit more about later because they're really interesting. Now, as you can see, that trial omen does not last as long as bad omen. It lasts about 15 minutes, so you do have a time limit on you still. So these are the ominous vaults. You can find these kind of hidden around the place. They're usually up in the walls, and they're going to be a little bit more difficult to find and see, but this is where you can actually use your ominous trial key. Now, this is where you actually get the good loot in the trial chamber. As you can see, you can get armor trims, you can get diamond blocks, you can also get the heavy core, which is used to craft the mace. So it's definitely in your best interest to go through and use some ominous bottles inside of these trial chambers. That way you can get the much better loot. And let's take a look at all the loot that you can get from raiding the trial chambers. So the good unique items from this update are going to be 2 new armor trims. This is the bolt armor trim, and this is the flow armor trim. As you can see, both of these are actually fairly nice and pretty snazzy little armor trims for you to collect. There's also 2 new banner patterns. There is the Guster banner pattern and the flow banner pattern. As you can see, that is going to be a breeze and a little swirly thing. And there's also 3 new pottery shards that you can collect. There is scrape, Guster, and flow, which can actually be found just all around the trial chamber. As you can see, there's quite a few pots all around these places. You can just break these and get your shards from there. And there's also 3 new music discs in this update as well. There is Creator Music Box version, and Precipice as well. And in case you're curious about the signal strengths of the new music discs, then here they are on screen for you. So to recap, all this loot on the left side over here, you'll be able to get from unlocking the regular vaults, which does include some decent things like diamond gear. And on the right side is all the loot that you'll be able to get from unlocking the ominous vaults, which has significantly better gear, even including enchanted apples and blocks of diamond, and of course the ultra rare heavy core. Now there's even more loot that you can find in the trial chambers inside of the decorated pots. You can find these decorated pots all over the place, and that is how you can find the Creator Music Box version. You just go around and literally smash these pots. As you can see, they have all kinds of stuff inside of them, and there's actually a rare chance of finding blocks of diamond inside of these pots as well. So really, you definitely want to go smashing. Here's a small 10-second sample of each music disc. This one is Creator. And this is Creator Music Box. This is Precipice. If you want to listen to the full tracks, there are of course links down below for you. And there's actually a ton of new music in this update, so it's worth checking out. And finally, let's talk about the Breeze, everyone's favorite new friend. This guy is basically a cousin of the Blaze, but instead of throwing fire at you, he basically throws farts. I mean, he throws wind at you. Yeah, that's the same thing. So the Breeze really only has one attack, and that is the projectile. He's going to throw a wind charge at you that gives you significant amounts of knockback. And really, it's mostly going to be the fall damage that ends up killing you. Now, these guys absolutely love to bounce around and fly around the place, and they are going to be hard for you to track down and keep a hold of. Now, he's immune to projectiles, so if you try and shoot him with an arrow, as you can see, it bounces off of him. And yes, those arrows can hit you and kill you. So the only place in Minecraft that you're going to find the Breeze is inside of these trial chambers, and they're specifically only from the Breeze spawners, which are surrounded by these chiseled tough blocks. So the Breeze has one drop. If you kill it with looting, you are more likely to get it, but that is the Breeze Rod. It can drop several of these at a time, and there's only 2 uses for the Breeze Rod. You can use them to either craft the Mace, which I'll talk more about later, or you can turn 1 Breeze Rod into 4 wind charges, which I'll also talk about later. So a couple basic properties of the Breeze. This is a living mob, so harming potions do actually hurt the Breeze, even though it is, you know, immune to projectiles. but as you can see, if you throw it on the ground near it, it will take damage. He is not fire immune, so he will die in lava and fire. Of course, you can't put a lead on the breeze, but you can get the breeze into a boat. So yeah, they're free. You could just take one home with you. So interestingly, the breeze doesn't care at all about snow golems. The snow golem is trying to attack him, but of course, he's immune to projectiles, so he literally can't do anything about it. Now, the breeze will immediately attack an iron golem, and the iron golem will attack back immediately as well. Now, something interesting about the breeze is it can actually interact with redstone and other such items in the world by using its projectiles. So if you notice, all around the trial chamber, there are dispensers in any room that you'll get a breeze, and these have all kinds of things in them, from eggs to water buckets to potions and arrows and all kinds of stuff. So you actually want to keep your eyes peeled for these. Now, the wind charges have their own unique set of features with them. Of course, you get these from crafting down the breeze rods. So these are basically a projectile. You can throw them and they knock back mobs. It's basically a portable fart, and just be glad you can't smell it. Now, just like the breeze, these wind charges also interact with a variety of redstone and other features, such as buttons, levers, doors, trapdoors, fence gates, bells, candles on cakes, and even decorated pots, and probably a couple other things as well. So if we throw this, as you can see, all these things get activated or changed in one way or another. The bell gets rung, and all of these candles even get blown out. And if we throw it at that pot there, then as you can see, it shatters and explodes, which is actually pretty cool. So as of 1.21, these only launch you about 2.5 blocks up in the air on Bedrock Edition, but as of 1.21.1, they're going to launch you 6 blocks up into the air, which is significantly higher. These are going to be very useful for hopping around your world. They're going to be great for parkour, and they're also going to be great for trolling your friends. The wind charge can actually be used to break your fall and prevent all fall damage. It's currently bugged on Bedrock Edition though, so if you throw it, it just kind of doesn't go down faster than you do. It either hits you or it takes forever to hit the ground, so you just die. And let's talk about Minecraft's newest weapon, the Mace. This is the most powerful weapon ever added to Minecraft. It can one-shot basically any mob in the game, even the dragon, the wither, or the warden, if you know what you're doing. So first of all, this is a very rare weapon. You're going to need a breeze rod and a heavy core item in order to craft one mace. The mace does 5 attack damage, which is actually the exact same as a stone sword. Of course, you can put mending and unbreaking on your mace, that way it lasts longer and you can repair it, but there's also 3 new unique enchantments just for the mace. There is wind charge with 3 different levels, there is breach with 4 different levels, and there is density with 5 different levels. And you can get these enchantments from the enchantment table. I don't know if you can get them from villagers. You can also put fire aspect, bane of arthropods, and smite on the mace, but you cannot put sharpness on the mace. The mace is not a standard weapon. The further that you fall, the more damage you will do to a mob. So if you fall from build limit, you can essentially one-hit anything. If you successfully attack a mob while falling, it will actually negate all your fall damage so that you don't die. But if you miss, then you take all of the fall damage. So it's a little bit risky and you need to know what you're doing. So when you get a successful critic attack on a mob with the mace, the Windburst enchantment launches you up into the air. That was Windburst 1, and this is Windburst 3. The density enchantment simply increases the amount of damage you deal when falling and hitting mobs that way. And the breach enchantment helps you bypass a mob or player's armor, that way you can deal damage directly to them. However, you cannot have breach and density on the same mace. They are exclusive, so you have to either choose a higher damage or anti-armor, basically. So this can get pretty interesting when you start doing crits and combos. So if you launch yourself with wind charge and then use wind burst on a mace, you can 2-hit a golem, as you can see there, which is pretty crazy. And of course, you can also have strength 2 for even more damage. And next up, we have the Bogged, which is a new skeleton variety that you can find in the swamp biomes, either regular or mangrove. And the Bogged actually shoots poison arrows at you, but luckily it fires slower than a regular skeleton. So there's not a ton of features with these guys, but if you decide to shear them for some reason, they'll actually drop their mushrooms. They'll either drop some red mushrooms or they'll drop some brown mushrooms. And yes, you can automate that with a dispenser if you want to. So there's actually no conversion mechanics with these guys. So if a skeleton drowns in a swamp biome, for example, they're not going to become a bogged. There's no way to turn a bogged into a regular skeleton or vice versa. And that's a bit of a missed opportunity because, of course, zombies and husks will convert to another mob when they are submerged in water. And, of course, these guys have some pretty standard skeleton mob drops. So they'll drop bones, arrows, and bows, along with some poison arrows as well. And, of course, these are 5-second poison arrows. Minecraft 1.21 adds 4 new types of potions that you can find throughout the trial chambers and also brew yourself. There's the potion of wind charged, oozing, weaving, and infested. And of course, there's also splash varieties, tipped arrows, and lingering potions of these as well. The brewing recipes for these are really easy. Wind charge is just a nether wart and a breeze rod. Weaving is nether wart and cobweb. Oozing is nether wart and slime block. And infestation is nether wart and a stone block. Now keep in mind, these potions are going to be dropped all around you and be affecting the mobs that you're fighting when you're in an ominous trial. So that's going to make things way more interesting. A potion of infestation makes any mob that takes damage have a 10% chance of spawning in some silverfish. So if we smack this guy, as you can see, we get some silverfish. Potion of weaving makes it so that any mob that dies will spawn in some cobwebs around it, and they can also walk through cobwebs quicker. Weaving does actually apply to the player, so as you can see, we can walk through these cobwebs significantly quicker now that we have the weaving effect. Oozing makes it so that any mob that dies will summon in a couple of medium slimes on death. This makes it so that we can create a slime farm anywhere in the world. And wind charge makes it so that any mob that dies explodes into a puff of air on death, of course knocking back all mobs in the area. Infested and oozing are going to be the best ones for us, since we can use those on our mob farms to get even more drops, items, and experience. There's also 20 new paintings coming to Minecraft Bedrock and Java Edition in this update. So you're going to want to find yourself some places to put these in your house, because not only are these really, really good, but some of them are absolutely massive as well. Like we have some 4x4 paintings over here, and there are just a lot of these. So find yourself some places to decorate. Minecraft 1.21 also adds a ton of new building blocks to the game. Tough is getting a ton of new resources such as bricks and polished varieties, chiseled versions, and of course copper is getting a bunch of new blocks as well, which means that there's now 50,000 different combinations. I mean, seriously, look at this creative menu right here. This is a lot of copper to build with, okay guys? Now you might have noticed that we have the redstone bulb in that line of blocks, and this is actually a new light source and redstone component in 1.21. This thing is great. So unlike a redstone lamp where it has to have a constant power source, if it's not powered, it's not on. The copper bulb actually is toggleable. So if we activate these things with a button, as you can see, they're going to stay on even after we remove the button. This is amazing for building, but it's also unique in a couple different ways. So this is the regular off state. If we power this, you can see that it turns on, but that red dot in the middle means that it's currently being powered. If we take that away, the dot goes away. If we power it again, as you can see, that is the off state with the power symbol as well. These don't actually conduct redstone power, so if we power this one in the middle, only that one gets powered, not the ones next to it, which is really cool. You can also push and pull them with pistons on all platforms. And they're also a redstone component in that when the bulb is turned on, they can be read by a comparator, and they always give a signal strength of 15, no matter what level of oxidization they are, so you don't have to worry about that. This also means it's a 2-block T flip-flop, so if you have a signal coming in, that turns the system on, and then it stays on, and then another signal comes in, and that turns it off. So this is incredibly useful for just like so many things. If you're not a redstone person, then you might not know, but you can still enjoy building with this incredibly nice block. By the way, the copper bulb crafting recipe is actually really easy. It is simply 3 blocks of copper, 1 blaze rod, and 1 piece of redstone, and that actually gives you 4 entire copper bulbs, so they're actually relatively cheap. Saving the best for last, we have the auto crafter, the single best feature in this update if you'd like playing technical Minecraft. So this block right here can craft any item in the game, and it's actually incredibly easy to use and very intuitive. So this is the interface right here, and as you can see, there are 9 slots representing our crafting grid, and of course you can put any items that you want in here to make any shape or recipe that you want. If you power that with redstone, it's going to craft the item and shoot it out the front, or put it into an inventory for you. You can also disable some of these slots just by clicking on them, as you can see, and then no items will be able to go in there. So if we disable all of them, as you can see, nothing can go in there. This allows you to configure your crafter for certain recipes. So this is a very simple recipe with just one item, but you can also craft other things that are more complicated or with different shapes, such as the copper bulbs, or you can even have crafters auto-crafting crafters because we like auto-crafting in this update. As you can see there, very, very nice indeed. I have a couple other videos going over all the details and mechanics of the auto-crafter. It is a pretty in-depth block and a brand new mechanic that we've never had before, and it's going to absolutely revolutionize so many aspects of technical Minecraft. Also show off a completely automatic, self-sustaining auto-crafting design that can craft basically any item in Minecraft. It is super cool. Check it out. There is so much to this update, so make sure that you're subscribed. That way you don't miss future videos. I have a lot of stuff on the way, and you don't want to miss it. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then drop a like, share it around, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys down in the comments and in the next one.